Dave, did you get time to review everything?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Garfield?
I briefly looked over it. Some of it was familiar, see some updates.
Okay.
You showing me anything?
Is there a way we can plug in right here? I know we used to.
Are these remote? Are they just a button
Oh, there's a remote, so here you go, here's a bunch of remotes.
right here? You gonna cast to these TVs up here, Sean?
I am, so everybody can follow along and it will,
Let's get it to one, can we get it to one of these over here?
let's see.
Or is that,
Here, come.
all four of them have a cable?
Oh, that's about 'em. Pretty good, aren't you? Good, good. How's your mom? Good. Good.
They're all HDMI 2, it said.
Mayor, I don't think the computer is casting to it. I thought we could put it on the screen to make it much easier to follow along.
Have you tried all of them?
Let's see.
We're trying just one at a time.
Casting.
Does your, let's try the next one. Does your laptop know to automatically switch to the external monitor?
It's the screen without, I didn't realize. This is one I think, the old,
Andrew?
not Andrew, was this one Andrew used to use?
What?
You had printing copies back there?
If not, unless everybody brought theirs with them. Did everybody bring their printed copy?
A digital copy.
I've got a digital
They got it,
copy.
okay.
I don't have a printed one though.
Yeah, we can run with that. Man.
Okay.
I was gonna put it here to make it go a little easier, but it's no problem. So,
Michelle,
Yes.
do you have, can you print Garfield a copy?
Sure, of course.
I
You
can
have
use my
mine.
digital. Hard copy's good, but I've got it here.
Okay, you have mine, and I'll just follow along.
You've got it all memorized anyway.
Yeah. I do.
let's make sure we're live.
Thank you for remembering that, Sean.
No worries.
Linda, do you have your recorder? Here.
Just make sure we're live. We're live. That's the main most important thing.
I think it's gonna be a lot of
Yeah, live.
information.
Maybe so.
It's all right, Mr. Mayor. We'll figure that out.
Okay.
That'll be Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, can you just?
Are you gonna use your phone, Garfield?
She's got a,
Got it, okay.
giving me a hard copy here.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
You good if she calls the meeting to order?
I am good, sir.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order, so we'll stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance first. Okay, I'm glad everybody's here. I'm Catherine Gillum, and we will start, I don't have the minutes from our previous meeting, which I believe was probably over a year ago.
It was last January.
Okay, so we'll just go with that, and if anybody has any questions or wants to review that, just let us know. We'll get with Michelle. But moving forward to new business, number one, we can do Election of chair and vice chair for the 2026 calendar year. So we can just ask, does anyone else here, would anyone else here, do we actually currently have a vice chair? I don't think we voted on, because we reorganized the group and then I volunteered to be chair, so I don't know that we,
Then after that, we didn't meet anymore. I don't think we have a vice chair either.
okay, does anyone want to be vice chair and does anyone want to be chair?
I'll make a nomination that you stay as chair and Tara be vice chair.
Second.
Do you?
I'll follow that, yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Are y'all okay with that? All right, so we'll go with that nomination, me as chair and Tara as vice chair.
We need a vote.
Oh, wait, we need a vote. So,
Individually or all of
You
them?
can do it together.
okay, who, I don't know how to word it, but all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Vote passes. Okay, number 2, text amendment TA 2026-01 subdivision. Okay, and I'll turn, yeah.
Board, how y'all doing? I truly apologize for not having the pledge of allegiance on your agenda. I did not know, some boards do it different, some do it, some don't. So next time, if I do another planning board, I'll make sure I have it up there. What we have tonight, board, is it was tasked by the Board of Commissioners and the mayor probably in the January meeting to look at the subdivision ordinance of the town. If you don't know, I am the code enforcement officer for the town, but I also serve as the town of Nashville Planning Development Director and also the town of Bailey Zoning Administrator. So it was tasked by the mayor and the Board of Commissioners to look at the subdivision ordinance, see if we could clean it up, make some changes to it, some recommendations to it from my standpoint. And while I'm talking, I'm gonna shuffle some papers around to get to that one. So you have before you is the proposed updated subdivision ordinance. Agenda report I provided for the planning board this evening. We're gonna start with minor, and we're gonna jump right on page 1 of that one, where you see the definition of minor. Right now in the town of Spring Hope, a minor subdivision consists of 4 lots or less. After talking with the Board of Commissioners and the mayor, we're gonna strike through 4, and we're gonna drop that down to 3. We wanna give some staff regulations to the next manager or the next town planner for the town to be able to use that authority that the commissioners hired them for to do the job. But the commissioners also thought that they wanted some regulations in subdivisions, so we're gonna move minor from 4 to 3. So anybody comes in subdividing the property, 3 lots or less can be done in-house, but they're gonna have to follow some procedures. We continue on, so we changed that definition. We did some more on page 2, some more changes where we just, made some his and hers. You never know, you could have a female manager or a male manager. Yes, sir.
I would suggest when you do his or her, just delete it out and just go administrator or designated agent. And just,
Mhm.
here's one.
Yeah. I like that. Very good.
I mean, it just makes it cleaner, and then
Yep.
you don't have to worry about the language.
And there's some discrepancy in section 24-58B. It still says 4 lots.
We're still going through, yeah.
Okay.
24, which one's that one?
2458B, minor subdivision review procedures, Town of Spring Hope, second,
I see it right here,
yep,
4.
it says 4.
We'll make it 3 on that. And we're still going through, making sure we got everything cleaned up.
Yeah, because the major still says 5 up there in that top paragraph.
That's no worries. When we go through, when we take it to the commissioners, we'll have all that cleaned up. So if you look on page number 3, we're gonna change that to designee, the manager of designee. We're gonna change that. What they wanted, what the commissioners tasked us to do was to find some way to add some regulations into this. As I told the commissioners and the mayor at the last town council meeting, I think minor should be done with some staff regulations over it. I don't feel like the planning board should have to get involved with this. I feel like if we bring the planning board involved on minors, it's gonna be harder trying to get a minor done quicker. Mine's supposed to be fast subdivisions, it's done in-house. So what we're gonna do is follow the same rules and guidelines of what we do in other towns. All minors will be reviewed by the manager, his designee. Then they will go to the TRC, so of course, when somebody comes in, submit a subdivision of a lot in a minor clause, the manager or the designee will review it, then they will call for the TRC. The TRC will provide comments. After those no comments are needed, and the TRC is okay with the minor subdivision, the manager then will go with recording the subdivision. The person can take it to the review officer in Nash County to have it reviewed. So that will be the minor flow right there. It'll just be an easy flow, nothing too complicated. When we get into the major section 24.59, that's when we'll start seeing some.
Sean, can you list all of the TRC members that it would go
Yes.
before?
And I will jump to that right now, sir. So the TRC is going to change. We changed your definition. The old definition had a subcommittee of the planning board. We struck through that, and we're just gonna have one designee from the planning board to serve on the TRC.
For minor, for 3 and under, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
for major. So the only thing, the reason why we struck through that, I thought it would be pretty much reciprocated over again. If the TRC planning board serves on that, then it turns right back around, you gotta have a meeting for a major one. I feel like if we had one designee up here on TRC, whoever the planning board picked to be the designee, they will serve on the TRC. Then when it comes to the planning board for major subdivisions, that person already can say, well, it's been reviewed by the TRC, the recommendation's been reviewed, now let's pretty much speed up the process of going. And also, we took some people out of your TRC. We took out the county health department. I don't know why they were added in there. They should not have been added in there. We took out the school member elected official. We ended up down saying a designee from National Rocky Mountain School Staff Representative. We added in the town manager, the town police chief, and the fire chief. We added in the public works director. If the manager has a designee as a town planner here, we added in the town planner, the town engineer. We also kept in the Nash County DOT representative from their board, and we also added in the county fire marshal. And we know you guys are a volunteer fire department, so your fire chief, your volunteer fire department may not have nobody who they feel like is up to speed to be able to review subdivisions in the TRC level. That's why we also brought in the county fire marshal. Just in case the volunteer fire department say they don't feel comfortable doing this, you can get assistance from the county fire marshal like other small towns do. And also one person from the planning board, which I think after everything is done, once this is adopted, the next planning board meeting, you guys can designate somebody to serve on the TRC, or you can do it tonight, and we can already have that in line.
Will the TRC provide a written report based off of what their comments and suggestions and stuff are? That will go along with it?
It's up to how the manager or the designee wants to do it. I know in Nashville, when I do TRC, I get everybody's comments and I submit it back to the applicant of what we think. So if we're doing, new construction, somebody like the UNC Medical getting built over there on Red Oak Road. When we TRC'd it, everybody that was a department head had comments. I submitted a letter back to that UNC Medical representative out of Rocky Mountain saying, this is the TRC's findings. Please provide comments and feedbacks to the town so that we know how to move forward. So once they provide their comments and feedbacks, they have their team research it, say, well, we agree to this term, but we want to challenge this. Our engineer says that this doesn't have to be done this way. We let our engineer review it. Our engineer said he will agree with that engineer, that it was both done right, and then that's how we review it.
I think we need to clarify that whether or not it's in writing and it's documented is first going to come to this board to give an advisory recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. And the Board of Commissioners will make a decision whether or not it's a written record. And I believe that it should be a written
It's a
record, not to
public-
the
it should be a
discretion of the
public
manager.
So you
I think
want the
it should-
TRC recommendation to come here.
Yeah, I think it should.
We can get that added in. Now, I mean, we can get it added in to after TRC because it will not come back to the planning board. Well, it won't come to the planning board for major subdivisions until the TRC approves it on their end. So what the manager will do then will say, this was reviewed by TRC, but we can put in there a note that anything that was recommended by the TRC, even if it meets approval and already been approved, the TRC would just like to see it.
So that there's a record in writing.
That's no problem. We'll get that added. And I will talk with your town attorney just to make sure that is allowed. I've never done it like that myself, because TRC's always done in-house. And my recommendation when I go to the board in Nashville is TRC, like we did one last night, it was a planning board for rezoning. TRC reviewed this on January 26, 2026. at that meeting, the TRC found this rezoning favorable for rezoning. And then that's the comment I always put in my agenda reports.
Okay, then I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
So you respond back to the applicant.
Right,
That response is a public record.
yes.
Okay, so if I, being outside, want to get a copy of that TRC response, I have to send a request to the county.
You do, or if, I mean, it just depends
Okay,
on,
so there's a written record of it somewhere.
it just depends on how your manager, who's sitting in the chair, handles it. Every plan development person does it different. To me, I send a letter out because I always like to have something in the file, saying that the TRC reviewed this, either there was no comments, your property, this permit now can be released, or there were comments, and we come back for another TRC.
Yeah, but
But
just
we don't
because,
have nothing in writing in Nashville or Bailey stating that. It's just something I always do as a good gesture of having something in that file saying that on this day, TRC looked at this project. This project made the recommendations to have approval for a zoning permit to be, for you to come down and apply for the zoning permit. We don't have it in writing to do that. It's just a good faith that I do.
I like your attention to detail.
Sometimes and that's my, and sometimes would be, I put too much attention to detail, but I just like when the town manager comes behind me and looks at the file, I like the town manager to be able to look and say, okay, we all TRC this on January 26th. January 26th at 1 o'clock, Sean wrote a letter after our TRC week was over with, stating that this met all the conditions to be approved for a zoning permit. Now this person can come apply for a permit. And then the person applies for a permit, and that's in the file. Subdivision, same way. We review it. I send a letter out to them, especially if it's a major. They know after TRC, they don't even get a letter, because they know the next stop is the planning board. So they get a letter pretty much just say, they get a phone call sometimes saying,
You're scheduled to be on.
right,
the-
you're scheduled to be on the planning board meeting on tonight. And in that letter, I mailed them a copy of the letter for their record, so I have one in the file saying, we mailed you a copy of the letter saying you're scheduled to be before the planning board. That's not written in our ordinance, it's just a procedure that I follow mentally.
So for my suggestion, I mean, just so everything's public and open, you just have everything documented, even if it's just a one-page,
Right.
like
Yes,
one
in the
sentence,
file.
saying,
Yes.
hey, I agree, I agree, I agree.
Right.
Everybody agrees on it and just goes through, and then whoever
yeah,
the
I
head
think
of
it needs to
the,
be who,
Right, it needs to
who
be
participated,
documented.
who
Right.
commented,
And see,
and
that's,
who, yeah, who
Just
was
some
involved in
little-
it, yeah.
and that's where.
just to
things-
cover your base.
And that's
Yeah.
where, you know, the manager, when you get your manager, the manager will do that in the TRC. He will
Right.
say. Sean-
Either the,
Sean, the planning director, involved. Cole Rose, our parks and Rec director, had no comments. Kevin Marnell, our engineer, had no comments.
Right.
Randy Lance, the town manager, no comments. Chris Joyner, fire chief, no comments. Caleb Shotton, the police chief, no comments. Jason Glover, the building, not building inspector, the public works director, no comments. Chad DeVille, our
Right.
superintendent, ward sewer, no comments. All that's in there.
Just take
But-
it.
either the
Right,
town
it just
manager,
means-
whoever's
yeah,
gonna
we
be
just
that
put in the
committee.
file. And then all
would
I do,
sign
like I
it,
said,
say-
it's not a written rule for us to send a letter, but I just send a letter because I want the applicant at least not be hanging out to dry.
Make sure y'all speak in the microphones too so that they can hear.
I just send something like after TRC, because I just don't want the applicant hanging out dry like, when the TRC, you know, what's going on, like, 2 weeks later, I haven't heard that back from you guys. So it's not in our orders, it's just a rule of thumb, but I mean, I don't have a problem adding that in there, that after TRC meeting, the planning board would like to see something submitted to the applicant, let them know what the TRC recommendation.
Well, I think it needs to
Just-
come back to the town as well. I mean,
Well,
it needs to
will.
be,
Right,
It's gonna come to the
documented,
town.
yeah.
Majors will come to the town, minors won't. So once the TRC reviews the minor and the TRC has no problems with it, the manager then will tell the applicant to submit the preliminary plat. The preliminary plat will be to make sure that all the certifications are up there, the certificates need to be signed or correct, and make sure they didn't put, instead of the manager, put the major sign, or put the clerk to sign, or put, the planning director sign. They'll make sure that whatever your ordinance says for certificates up there to be signed, do that, then that's when they will submit the final plat for them to get signed, pay the fee for subdivision, and then go have it reviewed and platted up there at Dash County Tax Office. Now, majors will be different because majors will come to the planning board. So the minor ones are gonna be the easiest ones. Your major one is a start here, so somebody now says they want to do 4-lot subdivision. We're gonna treat it as a major subdivision now. They will bring it to the manager will take a look at it first and make sure it does meet standards to go to TRC. Whatever your ordinance say has to be on that plat, they have to show it on the preliminary plat, or they have to show the north up there, the adjacent property owners' names, the PIN numbers, if there's any watersheds, all that stuff. If there's any creeks and encroachment, they have to show that. Then the manager now will take it to the TRC team. The TRC team will review it, and then if the TRC team has comments that the plat is not done right, the person now has to go back, fix those things, the recommendation they want right. Now they have to come back to the TRC. TRC will review it again and say, okay, on Monday, January 26th, we said X, Y, and Z need to be done on this plat. Now it's February the 15th, you resubmit it, we have TRC on the 16th, we said X, Y, Z needs to be done, you done X, you done Y, you done Z, this meets the town standards. Now, once the TRC team said it meets the town standards, it comes to the planning board for you guys to review. When you guys review it, you say the construction plat meets the recommendations of what the town ordinance says, because you're just looking at it from the town ordinance. And whoever the manager is will tell you, I've already checked it, the roads are right, the linear feet of the roads is right, they're gonna dedicate the streets to us, they're gonna have X amount of housing in this subdivision, all this stuff. When you guys say that, they'll present that to you, then you guys will, he or she will call, does the planning board recommend taking this plat now to the board of commissioners for their decision? You guys make a motion to have it carried to the commissioners, it will be on the commissioners' next meeting, commissioners will review it, ask any questions they have in it. Now, as I tell you, the applicant will be there, they won't get into they won't really get into the drill of it, because that's what the TRC is gonna be doing, answering the hard questions. So it just now takes you guys to give it an extra eye to look at it. Once it goes to the commissioners, they will approve it, the construction plat now can be recorded, then they'll come back with the final plat, and they'll just run through the same thing. Only thing with the final plat, nothing changes, because now they're just saying, okay, the TRC's reviewed it, they're okay with it, planning board's okay with it, commissioners okay with it, now we're ready to submit the final plat of what the neighborhood's gonna look like. This is when you'll see all the boxes up there where the house is gonna be at, how they're gonna be angled, everything, the streets, things, they already have them. That'll come straight to the planning board, that doesn't need to go to TRC. Only reason why, because the TRC's already made the recommendations, and the final plat is the recommendations of what the TRC said, and what the planning board said, and the commissioners. That will come to you guys will vote on it to send it to the commissioners and the mayor will vote on it. Once the commissioners and mayor votes on it, then the plat can be recorded with Dash County. They can pay the fee to the ladies up front, get the signatures from whoever designated signatures are in the town, with the manager, the mayor, and the clerk, then it can go be recorded. And now, the major subdivision has been reviewed by the TRC, it's been reviewed by the planning board, it's been reviewed by the board of commissioners on the construction plat level and the final plat level, so that is 2 times you have seen.
Did you mention water and soil in your list of the TRC members?
Yeah, it's in there.
Most of the time, the Dash County representatives, and I'll just tell you, because it'll be the first time the new manager uses the TRC team, most times they do not come, but if you send the stuff to their director, Mr. Cole Strickland, they will go through and make comments. Same thing with the school system. They probably won't come, but if you send it to Ms. Angie Miller, people like that, they will get it to the right person. They will send their comments to be read out loud.
I got a question about impact studies as far as you mentioned stormwater. Did you mention that? If it's like a perfect example, something I kept on and on mentioning over and over and over 4.5 years ago when this subdivision was in planning was about stormwater washing through it because of the creek surrounding it. And no one could provide any impact studies as far as any land studies that said, hey, if we take this amount of dirt and then we put this much asphalt on it and houses impervious surfaces, that it's going to create this amount of flooding. So where's impact studies built in there? Not only impact studies for flooding, but also we were just talking about utilities and light bills for street lamps at our budget meeting. And so where in Wendell Falls, it collapsed. The amount of tax revenue didn't cover the needed police and the utilities and the maintenance. So where are the impact studies not only for flooding, but also that the town can actually afford to approve the subdivision?
The impact studies will be with the manager defined, and the stormwater stuff I will yield to the engineer. I'm not a professional engineer, I'm just a planner by trade.
Okay.
So I would say all that stuff will be done in TRC. You will get the manager to look at the impact studies of the neighborhood and all that stuff. As far as the water runoff and all that stuff, the engineer from the town will look at it and they will make their comments. Of course, anybody that's doing subdivision, the developer's gonna have their engineer that will say, the town made this comment, now you need to correct it with what our town ordinance said.
But they always come up with their own engineers, and I was on a phone call where an engineer of a developer actually manipulated the language of what was allowed. We all know that the developers with the ones with the money are going to manipulate the ordinances in the situation. So what I want to make sure is that there is some type of an actual impact study that's not only coming from the engineer of the developer, that our engineer is actually signing off on it as well. I want a second signature that, hey, if they build this subdivision, it's not going to flood the existing part of the town.
I don't know how to give those.
Ground.
I can write your ordinances without them right there.
Well, I mean, we need somebody to approve it that's on our side and
Yeah.
not being paid
Well,
Yeah, the
by
town-
somebody else, yeah,
In the
yeah.
TRC, if you're using your town engineer's gonna look at it and they're gonna make recommendations. Our town engineer from Nashville, he tells the town at TRC meeting, you know, this is what the engineer said for calculations. I don't agree with this. This is what I'm coming up with. And we as the planning director for the town, I get back with the UNC Medical. I get back with them say, our engineer said that this is not right. We're gonna go off what our engineer says. Our engineer knows our ordinance. He knows our stormwater stuff. We're going off his expertise. Now, if your engineer wants to make contact with our engineer, and then our engineer tells us that now he agrees with this and puts it in writing, we're good.
So can we put something in writing that requires the town engineer to give feedback and recommendations to?
He's in the TRC.
Yes, but
Yes.
specifically require them to look over that, because if we don't specifically require them to look over that, then they're just gonna not look over it.
Once again, I mean, now.
Specifically on flooding and on affordability for the town to be able to afford it.
And here's where the rubber meets the road now. It's kind of like we're taking the ordinance and we're telling everybody their job description. And the ordinance is not supposed to tell you your job description. It's supposed to tell you, this is the way we're going to travel down the road of these approval for subdivisions.
We had someone die in Spring Hope. 2 people died because of flooding.
I know, Mr. Mayor, and I understand where you are coming from. I'm not challenging your wisdom or your authority as the mayor of the town of Spring Oak. I'm just saying with ordinances, we can't write out a job description. All we can do is whoever your town engineer is that you use, the manager, you as the mayor have to tell this engineer, when this subdivision comes, I need you to put attention to detail and write out. If you see something that you don't like with stormwater retention, with watersheds, all that stuff, you as the expert in the room, you're supposed to bring that up to my attention. Naturally, I'm the planning director, I'm the expert for planning, so I'm gonna find stuff that does not rely on planning, that does not meet the setbacks. If that house is crooked and it's encroaching over the building setback, I'm gonna catch that. But me, as somebody who don't know engineering, that's why I depend on Kevin Barnell, our town engineer, to catch that. Just like with Parks and Recs, open space, I can tell you how much you need, but my Parks and Recs director is gonna tell you, it needs to be adequate space of our orders for open space and what type of management.
So we can't put it in the ordinance, but we can put it in the contract with our town
That's
engineer.
what I'm saying.
So
We'll put it in his
let's
job
make sure
description.
that it
Yeah.
goes in the
Yeah,
contract.
whenever we pick a town engineer.
And then who is going to actually check the fiscal responsibility that we can afford the street lamps and the maintenance?
have
Would that
to-
be the town engineer, or would that be, who would that be?
I
You?
think it would be like a combination of me, the town engineer,
Engineer.
and the budget officer, which would be the town manager.
Okay.
So would it be like all 3 of us would be involved?
On an operational
Well,
standpoint,
and
can
that's
we
something
require
too
that?
I mean, you're gonna get contribution from the
How many
police
streetlights,
department,
right. How many
the
streetlights
fire
do you need? How
department.
much do they cost per streetlight?
Right.
What type of streetlight are they gonna
And
put
what-
in?
And what part of it is gonna be our responsibility to pay for, and whether we're
Right.
gonna be able to
Right.
afford
And
Right.
they gotta show that on that final plan.
100%.
And then you
Where
also
they're
get,
gonna be, Where they're gonna be at, you know, all that stuff has to be shown. So
For
when
the
that
f-
plat gets turned in, you're gonna be able to see street lights where they're gonna be placed at.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a good developer, they already know what type of street lights they're gonna get. So they're gonna pretty much tell you, we're gonna go with the candlestick style pole or the, what I call the old school ones, wood pole with the long hang overhead light. They're gonna tell you all that stuff.
well, too, the state also, with the subdivisions, the state reviews the water. The groundwater is gonna review all the engineering from that.
Right.
I mean, when you get the feedback, like the subdivision, when we first reviewed that, we had all types of information from several different state agencies where their engineers actually reviewed the information from the builder. So they're the ones that sign off on the groundwater, all of that information. So you're gonna get, when the TRC meets, they're gonna get all that information as an aggregate. But that's when you're gonna have the engineer go back the town engineer is gonna go back and look at it and make sure that the numbers make sense. Air quotes still come out on them. But, I mean,
That's good.
that's,
And your TRC team's gonna have to be strict. I mean, whoever's on your TRC team's gonna have to ask those, that's what the TRC meeting is for. It's for to get the developer in here. We've already put our eyes on it individually when it's sent out to the TRC team to review. So if the mayor's on the TRC team, you get an email of the plan. You already looked at it, you started making some notes. Cause you're the one, we're just gonna say you're the planning board designee. You started making some notes. When you come to a TRC meeting, you're gonna have to ask those questions. I mean, you know, I always tell the TRC team, there's no dumb question, ask anything. That's what we're here for, to get all the answers, so when it gets to the planning board and that question's brought up, we can address the planning board. Well, this is what we found at TRC, our police chief found this, he had this comment, they pretty much have not solved this comment. So the TRC team gonna really have to put boots on the ground in those meetings and really claw into those developers and pull those answers out.
So after review by the CRT team,
Yes, sir.
will the comments come back general, like approved or denied, or will there be specific reasons for approval or denial? And my reason for asking is because if it's been streamlined to just a few individuals, then us as a board, everybody's got some ideas and can raise some questions about what may be an issue to either deny or approve something, so.
And with the TRC, well, 9 out of 10, your manager will tell the planning board that night, when the TRC team met, we had 10 comments, 2 from the police department, 1 from the fire department, 1 from the planning department, 1 from Parks and Recs, 3 from the public works department about water, and 1 from our engineer about stormwater calculations. All these comments have been satisfied, and I think, that's what I always tell the planning board, all the comments were satisfied from the department heads of the town of Nashville. We feel comfortable and confident that the developer now is developing a subdivision that meets the town's ordinance, and everybody has agreed to it on the TRC team. Our planning board, the first thing they say is, well, you guys are the ones that's doing this every day. We got confidence that if you guys say this meets the ordinance for a major subdivision, approve. Then it goes to the council, and council is the same thing. Cause the first thing one of our council was gonna always ask, did this go to TRC? If I say, no, it didn't, which I don't, I take everything to TRC. Everything go for the TRC, text amendments, everything now. Well, you know, she used to ask for the other planning directors, did this go to TRC? No, we just did, take it back and let the TRC put their eyes on it. I trust our TRC team before it comes up to us, cause I wanna make sure our TRC team are the experts in the room that caught everything. Now, you won't catch it all, but you will catch about 99.9% everything.
So basically what you're saying is by the time it gets to the planning board, we just need to say,
Well, not even
whatever
that,
they
I mean,
say.
I'm just saying, not even, just don't come vote, but put your
Yeah.
eyes on it. If you got questions, developers here, and you know, it may be a question that you may have, Mr. Garfield, that we may say, well, that question came up in TRC, and this is what the developer did to fix it.
For an educational point, so
Right.
that we all know the reasons that the TRC is approving or denying,
Right.
Right.
so that when it comes to the majors, because y'all will have to approve everything
Right.
on the majors, the minors will just go through just the TRC, 3 and
Right.
under. And then there's a 10-year aggregate you put in there?
Yes, we did get that in there, that anything done, let me get back to it. That was requested by the commissioners, and I do have it on that page. Once a minor subdivision has been met for a parcel of land, this number G on page number 2. A land, any other subdivision on that parcel of land must abide by the major subdivision ordinance of the town of Spring Up under section 2459 within a 10-year window. So the mayor wanted to add this language to the ordinance, ensure that developers know that once a subdivision is met the minor subdivision, they must abide by the major subdivision. And I think that was one of the biggest concerns from the board, when I talked to them back in February, is that you had these developers come and do cookie cutters, do 4, wait a year, 4 more, wait a year, 4 more. And what we did, we had the same problem in Nashville, and one of our council members said that they wanted it to stop. So we put it in our orders that once you meet that threshold on a parcel of land of 4, anything, I don't care if you come back 3 years later, you're treated as a major subdivision now.
And that's assuming the properties are adjoining, I'm guessing.
Right, it's gotta be the same parcel. Now, you do have some developers who may buy 33-acre tract A, 33-acre tract B, it's already subdivided, you got A to 33 acres, B to 33 acres, do 4 here, then say, well, I don't wanna do the major subdivision, I bought track B, I'm gonna do 4 over here. Now, that's allowed, cause that's 2 different parcel lanes. But once they do 4 or 3 on either parcel of those lanes, number 4 becomes a major subdivision. So when they come back and say, well, I did 3 on A, I did 3 on B, now I wanna add 3 more on A. Well, so now you gotta go by the major subdivision. So now, we need you to submit that to us, we're gonna TRC it, and it's coming to the planning board for their review. It's going to the commissioners to vote on for adoption.
What are your thoughts on that, Terry?
I want to make sure that all of the requirements for a minor and the major are exactly the same. As far as road construction, as far as anything like that, that we, basically, I mean, if I build 3 houses and then I decide to build 10 more, what I did on those first 3, I can't go back and change.
They're not gonna have, they're gonna meet that.
Okay.
Because with the first 3, they're gonna have to meet the town of Spring Hill ordinance. So if I build 3 in 96, and now after I built those 3, I wanna come back in 2005 and add 4 more. They're still gonna, as long as that ordinance is still active in Spring Hill, but y'all have not updated anything in the ordinance, I still gotta meet the ordinance of what I did with those 3 with these now. Now, of course, if y'all made updates, adopted new UDO language, then it may have to be some changes gotta be made for different stuff. As long as that ordinance is still in play, everything will be uniform. And we had the same problem in Nashville. We had developers doing 4, wait a year to 4 more, and that was one of the first things the council asked for, can we please stop that? Because, I mean, I hate to say it, it's just a slip over.
From a planning standpoint, you want to know that they're going to put in 25 houses eventually and plan for the streets and everything
Right.
all at once.
That's
Right.
So we feel confident, we're gonna go back in, this is not going to the commissioners next week, it'll probably go into in April. But we feel confident now that this is the best way going forward for the town of Spring Hill, where it gives the staff that the town hires as the manager, whoever is designated as the town planner, to do the 3 in-house, take the TRC, get comments, no comments, approve 3, and they're good. Anything 4 or more runs the full course. So even with that 3, if they come back to add a 4 point, it runs the full course now.
Just even that one,
Yes, we'll
even
go-
that one.
Even this one is gonna run the full course.
In a 10-year period.
Right,
the
we
way it's
say,
written.
you know what, you're adding on 1 more lot, sorry, town order says anything considered 4 on the parcel of land is a major subdivision, you gotta run this course. Now, you won't have no call on the 3, but the 3 that's already been approved by town staff should already be meeting the ordinance. It's
Yeah, but
already ran through the ordinance.
They're going to have to pay the fees again and everything else. So
Yes, sir.
it
Yeah.
would behoove them to do it at one
Once,
time.
yeah.
I'm going to put 8 houses here, and I don't want to skip the major, so I'm either going to have to build 4, then wait 10 years, or get them done all at one time.
Are y'all okay with 3 being the minor, where administrative is 3? It still goes through the full TRC.
Right, yeah.
And you still have a planning board designee on that board, so whoever the designee for the planning board serve on TRC, when that 4th one comes back to the planning board, they can say, I was there, these were the comments, they met it,
And-
we're good.
We're at 4 an acre. What's the smallest lot we can have?
R8.
8,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I think dropping it to 3, I know the commissioners, 4 is always a good number, but everywhere I checked around, everybody from Wake County, Chatham County, Richmond, Rockingham, all of them have dropped their minors down to 3 now. Especially Wake County, so much farmland being subdivided up there and being subdivisions, I think 3 is a good number for Spring Hill to get a good grasp where they give you a little leeway, where you get office staff, some administrative control, like the ordinance says, 160D, but once you hit 4, you know, we gotta now tighten, well, not even tighten the wrenches, but we're gonna now make you run through the entire process.
But y'all
and
could recommend 0. I mean, y'all could
Well,
recommend
the way I
anything.
read this too is if it's 3, if
Probably
it's,
would have no staff, Mr. Mayor.
if it's 3, it's minor as long as no new road construction or infrastructure is required. So like the houses that we approved some time ago going outside of town where it was just boom, 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 boom. It wasn't like they were gonna have to put in roads or storm drains or anything like that. And then once you get, so even if it was 3 houses, but they had to put in a new road and they had to add water services, that makes it a major.
No, that still goes TRC. So TRC will catch all of that. So listen, I got a parcel of land, I'm gonna cut in a cul-de-sac and I'm gonna put 3 in. It's still a minor, even though you put in the road and you're running utilities. But your public works director, your police chief, your fire chief, your planning board representative, your town planner or your manager, whoever else serves on TRC will catch all of that.
How do you feel about that?
That's not how I read it. Yeah, that's not how I understood it. I thought if it required new services, then that negated it being a minor. And the term subdivision administrator is used in here repeatedly. Is that whoever the town deems the subdivision administrator?
Most times either town manager, or town planner, whoever has that title. The manager is been with the subdivision administrator, but the manager can deem it as the higher town planner to the subdivision administrator.
So it says subdivision. Minor means any subdivision containing not more than 3 lots fronting on an existing street, not involving any new street or road, or the extension of municipal facilities, or the creation of any public improvements, and not adversely affecting the remainder of the parcel or adjoining property.
We'll strike through all that. TRC will cover all that. There's no reason to have that definition anymore. Only thing you need is a minor subdivision is 3 lots or less. Because I have confidence in your engineer Wooten, your planner, whoever's doing your planning, your planning board member, that they will be able to do all that.
So it reads
But I
that
mean,
way
I'm
now,
just
but
here
you
right
strike it out?
Once again, how you
Well,
guys want is how I write it.
I'm just saying that, I mean, that's how I interpreted it. It was like, okay, three lots, no new roads, no new, municipal facilities.
Is that struck through, or is that
No.
just?
No, it's not.
No.
Strike through that, because to me, I just feel like, and just like I told the mayor, I said again, staff needs to have some leeway. That's why the commissioners hire a manager or the hire a planner to do some work in-house for the SHD. I feel like if it's going to TRC, even if it's a new street cut in, the TRC is gonna look at all that. I can't tell you about streets, but Dr. Paul can tell me everything about streets.
And plus, you're gonna have a DOT
Right,
representative on
you're gonna have Kim Walker, DOT, whoever she.
So on your side, you'd want to make sure everything that comes through has a fiscal note attached to it. And then you need to create like a spreadsheet that everything, if there's any infrastructure needed, how much is that infrastructure going to cost us or the
To
builder?
maintain.
Right. And
They're
then,
gonna dedicate the road
right.
to the town.
So, I mean, that's just something that, the town would need to instruct the town manager that every project he has to do a fiscal note on, and that would be submitted to the commissioners. It would go to through the TRC, and that would be reviewed by everybody, including the fire department. And there would be a fiscal note, they would attach. Okay, well, if we add 3 houses, it's gonna be an increase in our fire budget by this much, or our police, it's gonna be X amount. And they would
Yeah.
have, I mean,
Because ultimately, once the subdivision is done, the roads are turned over to the town.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're done right and done to the proper depth, I mean, you shouldn't have a problem with them for 20 years. But, I mean, who went through and did inspections on the roadways back there to make sure they were poured to the proper
Right.
depth?
Yeah,
I mean,
we endorsed it.
right, while we approved it and said that that's what they could do, who from the town, because we're not a big town. We don't have the ability to go out there and do cores on the roads to see if they did a
Or
6-inch.
expertise.
Right, or a 6-inch pour to find out. And this is something that is a problem. I mean, South Carolina got this all wrong on 85. I mean, they had to report that 3 times because they couldn't get an engineer that they could trust to go out there and do it right. So, I mean,
That's important.
but that's not in this. This is something that you would have staff. I mean, the town manager has to do that.
But the
town manager-
TRC committee will be comprised of people who have
Correct.
expertise in all of those areas.
Right, so everybody who's sitting in that seat will be an expert.
Right, and then you would also
Like I
have.
told you in Nashville, I can tell you planning, I know nothing about Parks and Recs. It's a great facility, great thing, but if you have me doing it, I can't tell you where, all I can tell you, Joe Jim looks good right there. But I can tell you everything about what the order says, how it needs to be built.
Right. Your
Right.
code enforcement also would be a person that could go out there and,
So how does this? so
that's why I said that. The
So how
code
does this-
enforcement person would, I mean, if we had a full-time code enforcement person, that would be a person you could say, hey, can you go out there and watch them do this for an hour? I mean, that's, you inspect what you expect, and if you don't inspect it, you're not gonna get what you want, so.
So, but the flip side of this is every time that somebody submits a minor subdivision or a major subdivision, we're paying an engineer. The town is paying, I'm assuming,
Right.
an engineer to review that on our behalf.
Right.
Correct, and that
And-
should be baked in the fees that we
Let's say we
charge.
retain a contract with every town.
Right.
Okay.
And then also you could have, I mean, go back and enforce they have to do a core on every pour that they do. I mean, for the roads and stuff. You can bake those back in and say that they have to prove. But that's something that's outside of this.
And even with major subdivisions,
Yeah.
TRC can, when DOT 9/10 we do it, we pretty much get ahead of put the cart before the horse, traffic impact study. You can
Yep.
make them give you a traffic impact study. And that can be brought to the planning board to review with that subdivision. We had a traffic impact study done on Walnut Street for this new 20-acre subdivision, not triangle.
There was, yeah, they did one. I
Right,
mean,
you know, all that stuff can be brought to you in your package, so when you guys get it, you have a TRC, if you ask for a traffic impact study, all that stuff will be there for you guys to look at.
So if it was left as is, then the TRC administrative approval, according to how it's written, would only apply to 3 or less that do not require infrastructure or roads. That's how it's written.
correct.
So what do y'all want him to strike through that and let 3, even if it requires new infrastructure and new roads, to be administrative in TRC? Or do you want, if it requires infrastructure and roads, to also come to the planning board? And you said most counties are 3 regardless.
Everywhere I've been checking out, everybody's gone down to 3, that's all in-house TRC style now.
Is that regardless if there's new roads and infrastructure?
Because most towns, I mean, Springup's a little smaller, so y'all don't have department heads in every division, but most towns have people in those expertise that can do that. But you have a good engineer team over there, and you got a good public work director, a good police chief, you got good people working in the office that are expertise in what they do, that can look at it.
So it sounds like to me that the TRC committee would actually be more qualified to determine what actually is acceptable than me, because I sure can't go out there and look at it and tell you if it's 4 inches or 6 inches of pavement.
You can use a ruler.
Oh, yeah, I can take my backhoe and dig it up.
I don't think they want you digging up either.
I can dig it up.
Okay, so do we want to just ask for the subdivision minor, we want to ask that the not involving any new street or road be removed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's, strike through that. And then, do we need any more discussion to move forward with a decision on approving or not approving, the text amendment for TA 2026-01 for the subdivision? Any more discussion?
You said it's going in April, and if it's not going until April to the Board of Commissioners, I'd like to volunteer to be the TRC member from the planning board, if that's okay with y'all.
Yep.
Mayor, I would give you some words of wisdom, but you acted your best wisdom as the mayor of the town.
What's that?
When you are the mayor of the town, I would strongly encourage you to have somebody else, because you're gonna look at it at the planning board and as the mayor when it comes to commissioners. I would just would want a developer saying you looked at it 3 times. But as I would say, Mr. Mayor, you did what's best for the town. But if you want volunteerism, I would say if you had another member of the planning board that could serve as that subcommittee, because you still can come. The manager can invite you to come.
So you could still sit in on it.
Right, the manager can invite you to come. But
'Cause
I
the-
would just say, I wouldn't want a developer saying that on the if something, let's say something got denied for a subdivision, and we say he had to make some changes on it, didn't meet the town's ordinance, didn't meet the ordinance or something, and we had to deny it and told him to come back. I would want to say, well, the mayor's on the TRC, he's on the planning board, and he's along the mayor of the town. It just gives you That's my opinion.
Too many votes. It gives you too many votes.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. I was
You get to
looking
vote
for
on it
a
3
person.
times.
But our,
That's
ta-
my personal opinion, but please do as you think was best for your town.
but our town manager will be at the meetings.
Right.
Because is in the committee. Okay, and then, but you're saying the town manager would be required to invite, it's not an open session.
Right, but I mean, he can say, the town manager can say, we got a TRC meeting today, Mr. Mayor, I think if you can work that.
What if he didn't say it? Is the mayor still able to come, or is that not something that? Oh, I'm just,
What we can do, if we would want to do that, we can go back in on the TRC team and ask the mayor as a sit-in person, but not as the planning board representative. So you just can sit in, we can add that note that the mayor as needed as a sit-in person.
Well, could we just do it as a representative of the Board of Commissioners? So it could be either the mayor or one of the,
You can go that route too.
I think we should do that.
I think that'll be a
That just means that
safer,
you're still
yeah.
there, but it doesn't give you set up no way that nobody can say.
You can say either or.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Or
got a good-
and or is the better, because
Yeah.
then you can do both.
Right.
We got
Yeah.
I
a real,
would feel more better that way for you.
Yeah,
So
We
David,
got a
do you
real
want to be the TRC?
qualified member right here.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
you
we
be
do.
the planning board member, but you won't be the planning board member. You will now just be added in as a sit-in member and or the mayor as a sit-in member.
Good. So add me as a sit-in member, and then let's nominate David to be the,
Dave.
is that okay with you? Nominate you to, I'll listen.
Was that a nomination? You that the first, or you need somebody to make a motion?
I need a nomination, but I'll make a motion that David be the TRC representative from the planning board.
I'll second it.
Okay, Michelle, you got all that?
I'm gonna
Okay,
change that and get that added in for you.
okay.
Will we see a revised copy of this
Yes,
before you submit it to the
before it
board?
goes to April, I'm gonna email it to Michelle, she'll get out to you guys.
Okay,
If you see anything,
awesome.
I am not perfect, but I will go through this all the way again. If you see something, please call it out, I am not ashamed, please. That's how we make sure these ordinances are done right, because once we record in this law, we want it to be right.
So I make a motion to approve text amendment TA 2026-01 subdivision with the aforementioned edits.
Second,
And any future edits. If
And
there are
any future edits.
just if we have anything else.
second, yeah.
Okay. All right, motion passed.
We have to vote.
Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passed. Okay, so then we have another, number 3, text amendment TA 2026-02. If you want to talk about that now.
Yes, so when we were looking at the ordinance, the previous time around, Mr. Deanna was talking about doing conditional zoning in town, we have it in Nashville. It is a tool, and we saw that you guys do not have it, so I said, while we're making corrections to the subdivision ordinance, let's go ahead and tackle this too. So conditional zoning will give it a chance now where you're gonna eliminate some special uses, because we're gonna have conditional zoning districts where it's now not going before the board, but just in a quasi-judicial format. It's a legislative act that you can conditionally rezone this property for the specified uses that are for. To me, I like it better because it takes you out of the quasi-judicial, it takes you out of that board of adjustments where the board of adjustments cannot talk to the applicant with conditional zoning. Planning board members can talk, commissioners can talk, the mayor can talk, anybody can talk to the applicant because it's a legislative act. So, we have gone in and we have gave your new manager some more tools for the toolbox. We have changed all your land uses and now grouped them, so you still got the same land uses. We just made it a little bit much easier for the next person sitting in the seat doing your planning. Won't have to flip back and forth from pages like I've been doing the past couple of weeks. So we made it much easier now, so we grouped all of your table out use, so you have a general residential zoning district, that's everything you guys had, nothing added, all residential. You have now a general non-residential district, that's everything you guys had, nothing added. And now we added the conditional district, residential, non-residential. For the sake of time, we won't go through all of these.
So
We're
how,
gonna hit the main ones.
yeah, so how is this different, the conditional zoning districts, how is this different from the spot zoning that we were supposed to move away from?
Spot zoning is if I have a R10.
Right, and it's not
It's not-
contiguous,
yeah,
right?
Nothing around is R10, and then I tell the mayor, and I come to the commissioners, and I come to the planning board
But-
and say, make this light industrial, y'all do it, that's spot zone.
Right, but,
Conditional zoning is not there, because conditional zoning, you can conditionally rezone a property for the specified use and the staff.
right, but it makes it a spot. So if you want to condition, say like the post office. I mean, if you want to, so right now, the big thing about postal property is to rezone it as a multi-use.
Right.
Or call it postal property instead of government. But that just strikes me as we're heading back down where we were with spot zoning, and that's what we were supposed to be moving away from, spot zoning. And we're taking that one piece of property out of the general business district. It's already, government, just like this building, this is government. And then we're saying, well, if we want to, we can make this a conditional area and we can basically do what we want, which is what we were doing with Spot.
No, the only thing with conditional is the post office, let's say they wanna, this is not a post office, they wanna make it a post office. We can conditionally rezone it for that use post office, and we can add conditions to it. So the conditional zoning pretty much is a way now to take the special use permits out that had to go before the Board of Adjustment. Now everything is a legislative act. So with conditional zoning, it gives the applicant a chance. The big thing about zoning is when you rezone a property light industrial, the applicant has the whole table of allowed uses. If it's permitted with permit, special use, or with developmental standards, they can pick anything. So I can take this building right here, we can bring it here, and let's say the board rezone it light industrial, let's say it's not spot zone, it's light industrial around it. They rezone light industrial, I can be an adult establishment, I can be anything in light industrial. Conditional zoning now lets you as the applicant say, I just wanna do a college university.
One of the, whatever's in
Right,
that,
that's
right?
it, that's all it can be, nothing else, nothing more. Now, the only thing about it is if the college university fails, and now he wants to go and be a
He's got to get rezoned.
limited event venue, he's gotta come back and get that zoning amended. That's why a lot of people like it, cause it takes out the special use permit, and it gives the person what they want, but it gives you as a board condition to put on it. You gotta be closed by 5 o'clock. You gotta abide by the noise ordinance of the town. You gotta put up a fence 6 feet high according to the fence ordinance. You gotta do it. It gives the board conditions to put on it. To me, it's the best thing since sliced bread when it comes to zoning for small towns. Because now when these developers come in and now instead of just giving them a full-fledged rezoning, we can give you conditional rezoning. And like somebody wants to do an apartment building, we have one done, we can tell them, well, this is what we want. We want a fence, we want a vegetated buffer, we wanted,
Sidewalks.
sidewalks that loop around, cause in our orders in Nashville, it says you had to put sidewalks on one side. We told the developer, no, we want the sidewalk to start here, loop around the whole subdivision, the apartment complex, and connect right back to the first one. We want a bus stop, shelter pickup, it just gives you a chance to put stuff in the conditions. And the only thing about it is they have to agree to it. Now, if the developer don't agree to it, the conditional rezoning, it does not go, it's done. They have to sign the consent that on this night, the planning board had conditions, it was presented, it was stayed consistent to the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners like the planning board's conditions, and then the mayor said, he talked to Commissioner D'Antoni. D'Antoni said he wanted sidewalks connect on both sides. They have to agree to all of that. When they agree to it, the rezoning goes in effect. If they don't agree to it, the rezone is null and void.
So where is this in so will these show up on the land use map as conditional zoning
They will,
district?
once you send it to Brad Park on Dash.
No. So where, on our current land, we'd have to change areas on our land use map now.
You wouldn't, cause nothing is conditional.
Right, so nothing's conditionally zoned,
Until they request it.
and
Until
somebody
it
would
gets
have,
adopted, They request it, so if they request this building conditional zone, the planning board finds it favorable, and the commissioners find it favorable, they vote it, then that's when you send the ordinance up to Nash County GIS, and they would do some funky design to show this is conditional zoning, however they choose to do it.
So, for example, if somebody bought one of those buildings across the street on the other side of the depot,
Right,
and they wanted to put, you know, a restaurant in there, we could say that they have to keep the historical facade on it, and we'll approve it for a restaurant?
and let me see if restaurant is in.
Well, I'm just
conditional zoning.
hypothetical.
If it's an
Okay.
allowed use, the
If
way
it's
that it's
a bed and
currently
breakfast,
zoned.
okay, well, no, that's not in there either.
But if it's not within the allowed use that that building already exists as, and they want to change the,
Okay, a community center, okay. Okay, community center. So if they want to put a community center in the old bank building over there across the street, we can say that they have to keep that facade.
Yes, you can, because we just did one the other night in Nashville. That we had a residential building that is getting ready, wants to be converted over for professional office space, and that's one of my conditions. Keep the house of status as a residential house. Do not turn it into a bank building or a insurance agent facade. Keep it looking the status of the neighborhood.
What'd you do about the parking in that situation? Because how many parks did they have to, parking spaces? I mean, I'm just being, I'm being,
Well, me the other night, I think that question came up.
I mean, no,
We are-
seriously, but that's
we-
what you're gonna run
Right.
into when you,
They
when,
still gotta meet the parking orders of the
Right.
town. So wherever the parking orders of the town is, they have to show in that site plan for that conditional zoning, they can meet the parking.
but then you could require a vegetative buffer around that parking lot so that they can't
because
see
it's
it.
not, yeah.
Because like I said, we had an apartment complex in that night in Nashville, we did conditional non-residential, multifamily for the complex. The neighbors came out in big masses, because they didn't want it, nobody wanted it. But when they saw how it looked, and then our council said, well, we're not gonna disturb the harmony of this existing neighborhood. We want a fence to go all the way around it, and we want a vegetative buffer. And they agreed to it, and the neighbors were satisfied, they said, now that is perfect.
It just gives you a little bit of extra flexibility. I mean, I can read it that way too. I mean, makes a little bit more sense. That we're not turning any of these districts into anything. We're just giving us the option to change a business that's in the downtown area. Say if we wanted to do
So in
something.
other words, the conditional use would be in line with the allowed use.
Right, it's just more, instead of doing a special permit, we can do this and say, these are your actual extra conditions on it, and they don't have to be something from somewhere else. We can use that, and we would use this instead of a special permit, since we're not supposed to use special permits anymore. And we use this and say, you have to, you have no noise after 11 o'clock. No, I mean, we would do all these things. No street parking, no parking on the sidewalks, no parking, I mean,
Right, and all those
Right.
in those conditions.
Right.
Everything that the staff, planning board, and commissioners write. And with conditions, I mean, if you want to tell them, we try not to regulate when their business can close, but we know some business is gonna make a lot of noise. In that conditions on, you can say, hey, 6 p.m., business gotta be shut, closed on weekends.
Right.
Now, they gotta agree to it, and they may say, well, we don't wanna do that. Well, I'm sorry, that's what the board voted on.
there's a lot out at the highway that's,
Couple miles down the road,
yeah. I mean, that's,
outside of our new ETJ.
we're just inside.
Yeah.
There's lots of space down there at the duck
Oh, yeah.
It helps towns, small towns.
Yeah.
Once we got in Nashville, because everything in Nashville was a special use permit, and our board of adjustments were not here special use permits, it was a town council like in Spring Hope, and our town council just got tired of going through the quasi judicial process, because once it's submitted, you can't say nothing, you can't have conversation. Citizens are calling the mayor, they're calling Commissioner Brumfield, Tony, Brantley, Lucas and Tony. They can't, all they do is hang up the phone on them, because if they talk to them, they're violating the quasi judicial oath of saying no export communication. Once we got conditional rezoning, life has been easy in Nashville. Developers like it, the town likes it, because it makes us feel like we got regulations on. If you're gonna, I mean, famous words of one of our councilmen, if you're gonna build something in Nashville, it's gonna be nice, it's gonna be how we want it. And developers like it, because they gotta agree to it.
I mean, the problems with special use permits is they got rid of them. I mean, you're not supposed to use them anymore. So.
Well, they got rid of conditional.
Right,
Permits, they kill
right.
special use.
Yeah. Unless you're Rocky Mountain. I'm sorry, was that on the record?
So
I don't
please
pull
go through this
punches, by the
table.
way, so.
Look at it, I did make 3 changes to, I thought would align with the future land use plan, so let me look at my notes over here, because I got 2 of them. You did not have enough for elevated water storage tanks, it could have fell under government office, including public safety, but I felt like a line item for an elevated water storage tank needs to be added to your ordinance. So I added that in, and of course, I put that with the government standards.
And
Can you
that's,
just put it in as utility instead of,
It could be that too, we can change to utility, now, we do have a line item for utility, so I can just Supposed to write it down.
I would say, I mean, that would be when I read it, that's the way, I mean, it's a utility at that point.
And these are like our water tanks,
Yes, yes,
not
yeah.
like personal
Yeah, town
water
water.
tanks,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that was my question. I was trying to define
It's
elevated water.
not you pumping water
Out on the slope, right,
Yeah.
yeah, like a rain tank.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking, was like a home
this
cistern
is,
type thing or something,
Spring
yeah.
Hill water tank.
Gotcha.
So we put that in every district because we feel like the way Spring Hill is gonna grow, you may wanna dig another well one day. We don't wanna say you can't dig a well in R-15 because you got a subdivision coming.
Gotcha.
So I can't change that to utilities.
I mean, it would still fit.
We'll fit.
I mean, the way I read that is we could just add it as utility if we had to put more out there than just a water tower. Because, I mean, a lot of times if you're gonna redo the well, we would put the water tower there if we're gonna support something in a higher area. Which there's no high areas in Spring Hill.
And let me make a note, I can add that to utility line. When you got public utility installations, all special use permits.
What would that change to, the D, I mean, you put D here for all of them, what letter?
We'll just add, we gotta go in and ask the developmental standards, that's something I just gotta look and see what I wanna add. That's why I wanna ask you guys tonight, what do you wanna add? What development standards?
What are some examples of,
Ours is just how many feet, I mean, it's whatever the going rate for the height, that's what we got in Nashville, what the height is gonna be, and then it's allowed in, in every zoning district. So I could just go in and add the height, whatever we have in Nashville for height, I think the same height, Spring Hill, they're all the same height. We can just put the height, and then they can put something about, gate around and stuff like that. I wanna pick you guys' brain before I write some standards on it.
They have to shape it like a pumpkin.
development standards, anything on the exterior of the building?
Well, this is specific to the water tower.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still talking about the water tank?
Well, I mean, I think definitely it needs to have, security fencing.
Isn't
Around
that,
it.
I mean, I would
No.
assume that any utility is gonna have some sort of fencing and security around it.
Security fence, and then we'll just do height regulation.
I think the existing one has a fence, doesn't it?
Cause all of them got fences around this place.
Well, that led me to a good question about development standards for the properties, if so they get approved for a community center. What about development standards for the exterior of the building?
That will have to be changed in your orders. Let me see where your community center is at.
I mean, that way we
They are
per-
permitted by right, you don't have any development standards.
Don't have what?
They are permitted by right. Community culture centers have a P in residential ag, P in R30, P in RML, P in central business and general business. They're also allowed in the conditional zone residential, conditional zone non-residential. They're permitted by right. Do you want to change that to what you asked them?
Well, I think that if any use, not, I was just using that one as an example. I don't know you're gonna go specifically to that one, but just any property or any structure that's built, I think that the planning board commissioner, someone should have a say-so in what the exterior of the property looks like so that they're not putting just a metal structure in the middle of a historic district or something.
We don't have a historic district.
So, community, civic, and community cultural, wouldn't they all sort of be the same thing?
Yeah, that's how your orders wrote it out, and I just copied it
Community,
over and just
community.
cleaned it up.
Government double speak.
It's some stuff that I looked at like, oh.
But really though, I mean, to control the look and feel of the town, I mean, really.
Well, I think,
I gotta strongly disagree with you, Mr.
yeah, I think you might
You
could,
don't wanna get too involved in the aesthetics of how to build it.
Why not? It's in our land use plan that subdivisions have to have 3 different facades on the front of the property, the front of, on the house itself. It's in our actual land use plan. Why can't we do it with commercial structures?
Because once again, I think it'd be like me coming to your property telling you how to build your house. You wouldn't
Well, they already do. I mean, no, seriously, so I have a house
like-
right over here. I want to add a garage. The town and the county has the ability to say it has to match or it has to be similar to the facade that I have on my house.
but if you wanted to build a new house and paint it hot pink, there's nothing in Spring
Right,
Hope
I
that
can do
says,
that.
yeah,
Right.
right.
And I think we have to be real careful in what expectations we set, because we do want to encourage growth
Right.
and not have it so strict until folks have allowed.
But that's already in the review process, so if you wanna build adjacent structure, what is it called?
Accessory building.
Yeah, an accessory building.
That'll be staff level review.
Right, that was, it's staff level review, but they still review it to see what you're gonna.
Right.
I think-
Part of what they're gonna do is check your setbacks. I have to double check your orders again on if it has to match the status of the house, and that's in there, and that's what staff will make them do. But I know majority of time with accessory buildings, we just check to make sure you're meeting the setbacks of what the ordinance says accessory building have to be for the house.
I mean, I think we do want to encourage growth, but we also don't want to wake up 5 years from now and all the growth that we've encouraged doesn't look anything like Spring Hope at all.
Yeah,
We
but,
get
you
a
know,
bunch of
I'd hate for us
strip
to get-
malls like Jacksonville everywhere.
I'd hate for us to deny a building because it's pink or it's orange or something. I think we need to be reasonable in what we, what we set as far as.
Do you want a bunch of pink buildings in Spring Hope everywhere?
It depends
I
on,
mean, be real.
it depends on what's in there
Are
and
they
what they're
selling-
doing for the town.
And too,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, you gotta look at it like this, when you start getting into that type of regulations, you trade on into a historic district.
You what?
You trade on to a historic district. Now, historic districts can do that, but town doesn't have one on file. Historic districts can give out COAs and tell you the major, minor, color stuff like that for historic homes that have been classified by the National Registry as a historic home. I just can't go.
Well,
to-
let's look at it this way. Let me give an example. So let's say someone comes in, they buy a piece of property, they want to put a commercial building out there. They have a few different elevations, they have some different facades on it. The building looks really nice, right? They come in. They invest heavily into the town. They build a beautiful building. They really do everything around the property, everything really nice, high end. Well, then, let's say 6 months later, after they finish it, they've invested, they want to maintain a property value. Well, then 6 months later, right next door to them, somebody builds a metal building with no windows, they paint it pink, and there's one door on the front. How do you think that person that just invested heavily in the community is going to feel when that's their new neighbor? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, well, you're talking about structural now, not aesthetics.
No, aesthetic. No windows, one single door, big metal building.
Well, it's
That's
gotta
it.
be the code of North Carolina, even if they build a big metal building like this, it's gotta be the code. And what I would say is residential dwelling, the manager or staff will be approved that. But anytime you got a major commercial building code, I would hope the managers do like we do in Nashville, they go through TRC. That's
Yeah,
not
but you're
allowed.
saying that in the conditional zoning, that if someone, it goes to the TRC and it meets all the TRC requirements, but then a conditional zoning of that building or that property, what's going to actually encourage positive growth that's going to impact the property values and actually maintain the character and actually maintain that look and that high quality? Because what you allow now is what will come later.
Well, then it can
If
be
you just allow anything to come in now and just let a metal building with no windows and no doors, that's what's going to come. Once you allow that stuff in here, you're not going to get the other high-end growth. And then Spring Hope takes a nosedive and it turns
Yeah, but
into a
that's
place
where-
that people don't want to live, people don't want to work, people don't want to be a part of.
That's where all the zoning comes in important too.
What's
though.
that?
That's where all your zoning districts and stuff like that become really important, that you enforce them. I mean, you're not gonna have one of those big metal buildings plopped right down here in the middle of the central business district, because it's not allowed unless we do a conditional. And we're not gonna do that,
It's not.
because we don't want that down here.
So let's say
I mean, you
somebody
have
wants
to allow areas for those types of buildings, because those buildings bring jobs, they bring income, they bring, people into town. But, I mean, it's still gotta meet the code
land
restrictions of however it's zoned.
It's gotta be appropriate for the land use.
Right.
I mean,
You're not gonna have one of those in the middle of downtown.
or even really in the residential areas.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Because
I
it's
was
not
looking at it
permitted.
as like a corporate park. If we build a corporate park, right?
But
and
you're not gonna
then-
build that down here.
No,
You're
I'm
gonna
not
build
saying
that
down
out
here.
by the interstate.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
I'm saying, out
Right.
by the interstate, out by Duck Through, whatever.
Right.
Let's say we want to develop a corporate park,
Mm-hmm.
right? We want a doctor's office, we want a vet. So we get a doctor's office to come in, we get a vet to come in, and then you get a storage unit that wants to build right beside it.
Then go through here and make sure it's not permitted.
Okay.
That's one way to ask it.
Yeah.
And there are
Okay.
always
I
ways
think
to
we'll be-
deny it based
And then it
on
goes through conditional.
a nuisance.
Right.
If it
So then
becomes
we've
a
got
nuisance.
some more work to do how would we do that? Go
Go
through
through
and,
your land use plan, your table out uses, and stuff that you feel like should be conditionally rezoned, take it out
But-
the district and put in conditional rezone district.
The light industrial is gonna be approved for storage. I mean, if they wanna put a storage place out there near duck through, that's gonna get approved because it falls into the land use of light industrial. And that's, you don't want that here in town, you want that over there. I mean, you can have them put in a fence or something like that. They already have to put in a fence. I mean,
Well, I mean, the land use plan, most of the data that's used in that land use plan is a decade old.
right, no, they.
Yeah, the data that's used, not the plan itself.
Right, right, but
The
that's
data
just the
that's
way the
used,
state
yeah.
is. I mean,
Yeah.
anytime you're dealing, it's always gonna use the previous, census, which is almost always gonna be 10 years old. I mean, cause we're still working.
Yeah,
off
we've
of-
changed a lot in 10 years.
I have just a note so we're gonna make this official, is that right? We're gonna kind of make this an official,
Yes, this will be-
Document.
You're adding in the new conditional zoning districts, and everything else stays the same. I made no changes to your table of land use, except the three things, the elevated water storage tank. I also made a change to go with your land use plan. Drugstore without drive-through was not allowed in downtown. I do not know why your ordinance did not allow it, it should be allowed. Everybody loves a pharmacy downtown.
Cause we used to have, Southside didn't have a
Yeah.
drive-through for,
Right.
ever since I was a little kid.
Everybody loves a pharmacy downtown. We got in Bailey, we got in Nashville.
That's where they
we
are
got every-
most of the time.
That's what they look for, downtown moving pharmacy. So I took that in there. Drugstore without drive-through, I added in your downtown district. I added in the postal parcel delivery to meet the orders down where it's at. Restaurant without drive-through, I cleaned up because Michael was a non-conformity. Senate Bill 382 says you can no longer have no more non-conformities. So your orders did not allow a restaurant without drive-through in downtown. I put it in downtown so you can take my kind of non-conforming use at Showside. Craft alcohol production facility. We just need to make sure that, I need to know where they at, because I know you got some in Spring Oak, it's distilleries. I need to know the address so that if they are non-conforming, we make them a
They're,
conforming use.
they're conforming, I
They
think,
are
because
conforming,
it's,
okay.
I think
it's
we
like-
recently did it, didn't we?
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's light,
Light industrial, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Okay,
sure that it's
It's
light
just four
industrial.
bores.
Okay, that's why I wanted to make
Oh,
sure.
yeah, no,
that I
they're
knew
good.
y'all
Yeah,
had some, I
yeah.
just didn't know where they were located.
No, it's just four
So
bores.
I made a note of that, but everything else is now conforming with getting Michael straight, adding the pharmacy to, downtown. Solar facility accessory to the principal land use. I added that in because we just had solar facilities. When I see the word solar facilities, I'm thinking of a solar farm. I add accessory to the land use, cause that's the solar panels that go on the roof of the bank, on the back of the house. So now.
We have a solar farm that's out there.
Right, cause I think y'all got solar generation facility, so now we just changed, we still have a solar facility, I added an accessory to the principal land use, so that's the one you see at the house. Those are the only things I did, and I did add conditional zoning, residential, non-residential. This will not go to the board in April, because I know you guys wanna go through, look at the table out uses and make comments.
So
This is just a good starting point.
was Denton's right over here, wasn't that still non-conforming? Or did we add automotive repair to central business?
good question.
If so, we need to fix that.
Sorry, because I'm just going through my head of all the things that we've had that were non-conforming.
Yeah, auction house isn't listed in here either. That was
Right.
something else that we had.
The-
Sean,
So automotive repair, we need to add that permitted with standards,
Uh-uh,
NCB.
we don't,
You don't want it. But he can't be non-conforming with Senate Bill 382. He got it.
then I'll want that in writing from our lawyer that we have to change it. I mean, personally,
Okay, I can mark to you that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
382 says anything that's a non-conforming use,
It-
you gotta bring it to conforming use. The Senate bill that was passed.
That
during
we
the
do
LA
or they do or the
No,
property
Taylor,
owner?
they-
Okay.
then,
anything that's existing non-conforming?
Yes, when they passed the Helene money back last year, 382 got attached to the last paragraph of that bill with non-conforming uses have to come in conformity. And we've been cleaning up in Nashville because we got a bunch.
Right.
And so
I
that's why
think
I bring
Denton's
it up
is gonna be
Surfside.
the one that we would have to really talk about, because that we've had issues.
Well, auction houses is
In the
not,
auction house too.
yeah.
Now, you can make it a special use. And I can talk with Mark about that, because now, he's already conforming, but you have changed your table of allowed use, saying if somebody wants that in the CB zone, meaning we have one, the next person now has to go through a special use permit through the Board of Adjustments. You could go that route, but I would definitely wanna consult with Mark before I would say that, but I know you gotta bring some type,
That's-
you gotta put something with it.
What do you want to happen?
I don't know, but I mean, those are the ones that are downtown, the auction house and Denton's. I mean, all of us have used Denton's, or I mean, want to be able to use Denton's.
The auction house.
What would you like to be the end result, though?
I don't know. I'd like us to be legal.
I would say special use, since you guys are a little worried about that. I can talk with Mark tomorrow, make sure that it follows the guidelines of the general statute that just passed for non-conforming use.
What was that general statute? What was it again?
Senate Bill 382, non-conforming uses.
2024?
2024 when Helene came out, when the Helene money came out, Relief money came out.
So
Senate Bill
382.
382.
they don't fall under repair shops?
Didn't,
We got repair and maintenance shop.
that's why I put it, automotive repair and services either as a P or a S. I would say a S if you guys don't want it, or not, you don't want it, if you guys
Lighting
want to put
does.
regulations
It
on.
does, it
Now, you
is.
can't put regulations.
And it's in
on it.
general business and
It's
central business.
Anybody
Yeah.
that comes behind them. And I will check with Mark on that one too.
Just double check on that one. I mean,
I agree.
of all the lots we've had problems with, it was that one, and then,
And you said auction house, where's
yeah,
that?
the auction house.
It's not,
It's not listed.
So we need to get that added.
That's the old Holly Myers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Auction house, and they are, the one right over here,
Yeah,
that
railroad.
is CB, we can make that is, let me check with Mark on that too. I will get it added in, and then I will check with Mark to see if we can make it as
So we can do special use, but we can't do
conditional use.
non-conforming, cause, right,
Anything non-conforming, the state really wants you to,
special permit or,
right, or the permit use, get them to a conforming status. And you can't make nothing non-conforming now, so I can't take,
right, right.
that's not a good use, I can't take,
You
Jim
can't-
right here, it's allowed in CB. I can't take it out of CB now, and make him non-conforming use. You used to do that, and towns were doing that, and what got that
Right,
started was
what-
churches. People want the churches out of downtown because they're nonprofits, and you're not getting money off of them. So every town in the city was saying, no church allowed in downtown, in those
Right.
buildings, and that's what made the change there also.
So you do have automotive repair services, you just want to find out what zone that's in, is that what you're
Right,
saying?
I'm gonna make sure it's in the CB zone.
Okay.
I feel like it is, and then I will check with the town attorney.
Well, then
to
we-
See if we can make that a S, a special use.
we need to look at the child adult daycare center more than 8 persons, because that building on the corner has been a daycare forever, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that is that central business or general business?
Give me, address on that one.
No.
It's on the,
If you see
It's
it
right
all
there
way
at the,
out,
it's right there at the stoplight.
it backs up against.
The one right here,
Yeah.
are they still open? I thought they
No,
were
they're-
closed
they're
out.
No, they're
closed.
not, they're not open, but I mean, that's always been a daycare.
And
Okay,
it backs
so-
up against the residential.
Yeah.
All right, so I need to make a note of that.
So when they were operating as daycare, they were non-conforming.
They were,
Is that right?
so.
Looks like it.
So honestly, if they were operating, let's see, if they were operating as a non-conforming use, and they have now been shut down over 180 days, they gotta conform with today's, I wouldn't even make that change. They gotta change itself, they gotta conform with today's zoning, so if you don't have it in your zoning now, why add it?
I don't know if it's been 180 days, but it's been a while.
So then they wouldn't be able to put a daycare back there?
Right, if it's been over 180 days, they can.
I don't think it's been 180.
Now, if they were still in existence, you would have to fix it on your table without use, but once they shut down, you give it 180 days, why change it?
So what happens if a daycare wants to come back in and open up there? Then we have to do it as a conditional?
Then you have to do one of two things, either we need to change the chart down to allow it, or if you guys don't want a daycare in the CB district, let the 180 days run its course, and then make them have to conform to today's use. Somebody come back, hey, sorry, daycare is not allowed.
Do y'all want to allow the daycare?
That's about the only building we got in town that would that would fit a daycare need, and I mean, that's,
So that's leaving town.
yeah, and it's already outfitted as a daycare, and I mean, that's one of the things that everybody always complains about, is that there's
Add it.
not a long-term
Been there
daycare.
25 years.
Yeah, add it.
Yeah.
And that one is child,
Childcare over 8.
Yep.
maybe a few more than 8 persons. That's had a D on it, so it's allowed.
I see the deal.
Yeah, it's allowed with developmental standards, so that's good. They caught that one.
CV. Is that general?
Well, that's what I'm asking, is that general business, or is that,
If it's general business, they
Central
gotta get a
business.
special use permit. If it's central business, they gotta get building standard. I don't have one, if you can check it out, but I will check that tonight.
So that's something we're going to work on as a planning board, is going through these different,
And I mean, right
charts.
now, find the
Yeah,
ones
let's
that you
do that.
know are existing that stand out to you. I found the ones I could think of, Distillery, Michael's, and the pharmacy in downtown. Those are the ones that stood out to me when I looked at your table like you
Well,
saying.
Denton's was only a problem because it backed up to residential. So you transitioned from a repair shop to residential. So it was a transition area.
So I
which
think
was the
what,
biggest.
I mean, I'm just looking at the time, so I just want to
Yes.
be respectful of everybody's time. So looking at this, I think what we'll say is that we're all going to get together, or at our next meeting, which maybe we could plan to meet next month. And that would be on our agenda to go through each one of these, think between now and then, think of what is in town so that we can decipher what needs to go where. And then you said you said we were gonna wait because we want to do that, so we're looking at April?
We're looking at maybe not May for this one right here.
Okay, all right.
Subdivision probably will go with April. This one will be May because we want to go through and make sure that if there's anything non-conforming, you guys know Spring Hill better than me. If there's anything non-conforming that you can think of that just stands out, write it down, write the address down so we can check to make sure we fix it.
Okay,
And 4 or 5 months from now, when the all-powerful General Assembly changes the ordinance, we'll be refixing it again.
We won't have a budget. So, I mean, until we have a budget, we're not doing
We can't do
nothing.
nothing.
So at the last meeting that we had, there was discussion about beginning the process of updating our land use plan. Is that something that we just need to squash until we have a town manager and all
hopefully
of that?
that's next month.
Okay.
Your land use plan, when does it expire?
Well, we did the 160D updates.
Because I read it.
It was done in 2019.
If you want to update now, I mean, you can. I mean, I would tell people,
What's your recommendation?
if the board feels like they need to update, you can put RFQ out to give a company to come update. You got InFocus, Withers Ravenel, Stewart, all these guys. Insight, they'll be glad to do it. But I always say, if you got 10, 20 more years on it before it expires, just wait it out.
If
do we
they,
have the budget to do it anyway? I mean,
Probably not.
It costs
if we don't, then, I mean, we need to assess that too.
It costs to do it.
Yeah.
About $10,000, $20,000.
Well, I mean, so like in the land use plan, you know, it lists the ETJ as 3 miles. So, I mean, there's significant changes that are taking place in town that are gonna be contradicted in this document. That's my concern.
So according to this, that daycare is, central business.
Okay.
do you want to
Yep.
just read through the land use plan and kind of point out like the biggest things that you see? Sean, can individual items be changed on the land use plan without going through the full process?
I never did a test run on land use plan, but I will talk to your town attorney because we just had ours done in Nashville about a year ago.
Can you find out if individual text amendments can be made without going through the full?
I wanna say you can, cause you can do test amendments and transportation plans. Raleigh just.
Which
did
would
one.
cost nothing.
Right, Raleigh just did one the other day when I watched her, beating online. So I wanna say yes, but let me double check.
How much did your new plan cost?
What's Ravenel charges? About $50,000. It was a lot of money.
I mean, that was for the whole county. That was for the whole
Yeah.
county though.
Yeah,
No,
no,
Was that for the county? No, that was just the town.
Yeah.
yeah.
We spent money with that. I think.
Well, and the COGS don't have any money right now because, I mean,
Yeah.
the state budget, I mean, until we get a state budget,
Yeah.
Cause that's what.
no, I mean,
we
nobody
wanted
has
that.
any,
Baylor's expires in a few years, and we reached out to the COG, and they said they couldn't.
right. Once we get off, I'll tell you what I think about the COG. but that's-
So when was it the COG was working with us, Michelle?
Sir?
When was it that COG was working with us on the,
That was, let's see, before Andrew got here, so like 4 to 5 years ago?
yeah, I didn't think it had been that
It
long.
was pre-COVID.
No,
It
was-
says the
It was before.
comprehensive land use plan was approved in 1999, appropriately titled Spring Hope 2020.
Because when we were doing that, we had this dude named Stewart, I think it was.
Yeah, Stewart.
And then he went away, and we actually got Andrew, because Andrew was working for the COG at the time.
Yep.
So it was about 5 years ago.
Yep.
I can remember all that, but I don't know what.
Oh, you got a good
Yeah,
memory.
right. I'm the same way.
Do we want to make any motion on the conditional rezoning tonight? And so that
No.
that can go in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think let's take some more time to review.
Okay.
Your
And-
plan was adopted in 2020, the one online, the 2019 Town Spring Hill Conference.
Yeah.
You guys just did one.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So how long are they good for?
30 years, depending on what they say expiration date is. Bailey, we did ours in 2009, it expires in 2030.
Yeah, because the last one we had, it was really a long time.
Because Department of Commerce did Bailey's.
I think they did our first one.
They did good with Bailey, I mean, Bailey.
Okay, so I guess I'll say I have a motion to put that on the agenda for our next meeting for next month, and just to brainstorm or think about what we want to discuss when we come back regarding the chart and any changes that need to be made. Any other discussions? Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for everything. It sounds like you put a lot of work into this, so we appreciate everything you've done for our town. And so I'm going to have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion with adjourn.
Okay.
I second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
I gotta learn that. Thank you.
We meeting